In this video, we're printing a ballasting tool, car card boxes, and Halloween pumpkins using the new FDM printer from TwoTrees SP-5 version 3.
And welcome to a video tutorial in which we will print and paint Halloween pumpkins. But not only that, we'll also make some useful tools for model railroading and also storage for all the accessories you use when you run operations, such as car cards and waybills and for your smartphones, etc. So for this, I've been given the opportunity to try out a new printer from TwoTrees. It's called SP-5 version 3, and it's a high-speed filament printer. So it's that kind of FDM printer which you can have like in your bedroom. There's no smell and no liquids with it. It's just to hit print and out comes whatever you want to print. So let's get to it.
The first thing that came to mind was to print a ballasting tool, because ballasting without a tool is really time consuming and can be really annoying. The principle of this ballasting tool was first presented in a magazine back in 1982 about efficient ballasting, but then it was built in wood. Today there are many 3D models available on the internet, so you can print this tool instead. But before we can start printing the tool, we need to assemble and set up the machine. The SP-5 high-speed printer from TwoTrees came with a printed manual how to assemble and set it up. In addition to that, there was also an instruction video provided on the thumbnail drive, which was even better. This was actually a very good assembly video. And together with the printer, there were also tools and all the necessary parts for doing that work. So I got started on the assembly. It was not all that much really. Some connectors to click in and also some screws to fix in place. And as said, the instructions were very clear and good, so I don't think this assembly work should be an issue for anyone. Last action was to assemble the thermal isolation under the heated print bed and the glass which goes on top. Then we're ready to start the printer and start the setup, the configuration. It's not all that much either, it's just to do leveling. The idea with that is to adjust the heated print plate so it's completely horizontal compared to the print head. So here are the function button to select the checkpoint, and then you click level and it will get into position. So you just take a standard 80 gram print paper, and the thickness of that should fit in between the print plate and the head. So you raise the plate until it almost scratches the paper, and then continue with the other 4 positions. Here's the thumbnail drive with the adapter, and you just insert that into the port and start the machine. So here are the test part, which I think always is a good idea to print first to check that everything's working before you get started on your own 3D models. Now, as you can see here, the printing process do not immediately start, but you can see that the figures for the temperature is rising, both for the head, the dispensing head, and also for the print bed, the plate. And the idea here with heating the head up to 200 degrees is to melt the filament, plastic filament going into the head, so it dispenses that plastic thread onto the print plate. And the idea with heating the plate is to help the extruded plastic to stick on the plate. So that's what it's all about. And then this machine will start to print layer by layer the 3D model we ordered it to do. This first square block of plastic with the letters XYZ took about 40 minutes to complete. Then it's printed in draft mode, so the quality is not priority, it's the speed. So we just pull it away from the print plate, and this is what it looks like And this first print was made in draft quality, so then each layer is 0.2 millimeters, so not a stunning quality, but I think it worked fine. Next up is a ballaster tool I found on Thingiverse. So this is a very useful tool. I've previously purchased one in the shop. It looks very similar to this. And the idea with this tool is to, as it sounds, you just pour ballast into it like this and then push it along the track, and it will distribute the ballast perfectly between the ties. And all you need to do after the application is to knock with a stick or like here a brush, paintbrush, and then the ballast will compress in between the ties, and you can vacuum away the excess ballast which is lying on top. And after that it looks like this. So this is a very good tool. You find it on Thingiverse. Just search for ballaster or ballasting tool, and you will find several of them free of charge. Here's another very useful thing. I have plenty of these assembled under my layout. In some spots you need illumination under the layout, but I'm not so keen at putting a lot of light under the layout because it kind of disturbs the overall appearance. And then these side lights is very useful, I think. The idea here is that you have to spray it black first to avoid any light leaks, since the plastic was white. Then you can buy these strips with LEDs from, cheapest is on Wish, which is an app on your smartphone. And then you just cut a piece which fits the length of the side light and solder wires to that strip of LEDs. So here goes the wires, and then we'll feed the wires through the little hole there in the back, peel off the mask, and then push it in place in the bottom of the light armature so it sticks properly. And before screwing it in place, I like to check that it's actually working, because it's kind of annoying to have to disassemble it from the layout again, but this is definitely working. You see, it gives just light in one direction, and I typically assemble them over connection points like this, and then I power these side lights from a separate power source, so I can have the power disconnected when I do the connection in these connection points. Another very useful thing you can print with this type of filament printer or FDM printer is these storage boxes for smartphones and for car cards and waybills. Now, these type of storage boxes can be made both from wood and from cardboard, but they're not all that fun to make, and you have to do a lot of them, so I prefer printing them instead. The first one I printed here is a storage box for smartphones, 3 of them, and it has a kind of slide-in fit, so you assemble 2 screws on the side of the layout or in the wall, and then you just slide this holder in place. And this one has holes in the bottom as well for charger cables, so the phones can charge while in the holders. So here comes the screw, and then I'll just slide this in. And then there are standoffs around the screws so you don't scratch the back of your phones. Now, one of my friends has this printer, and his grandchildren loves when he prints butterflies, because then they paint that when they're visiting. So I'm thinking to do something similar here, but since we're coming up to Halloween, what could be better off than a pumpkin? So here I printed a pumpkin I found on Thingiverse, and first I'm going to give it a coat of primer to get a better idea of what the printout actually looks like. And you see here there are some minor defects around the eyes. Otherwise, it has printed this pumpkin pretty nicely, I would say, since it's a round and kind of complex shape. So all I need to do is to fill these 2 lines here, one there and one here with some plastic putty. And with that done, we're ready to paint. And when painting pumpkins like this, you need basically 3 colors. You need orange, brown and black. So let's start by dipping the paintbrush in water and then using that soaked water to thin the orange paint somewhat. Then we're painting the entire pumpkin with orange, and then I take some brown whilst the orange paint is still wet. So I paint now in the recessed areas here on the pumpkin, and then I kind of fade that color out on the orange. So when you feel happy with the result, then it's time to paint this top part here in brown. And for that I'm using just brown. Now once it has dried, I paint the insides of the eye and the mouth with the black paint. So that is all the paint work I intend to do on this. Now if you're gonna use this or have it outdoors, you need to also put some varnish on top of it, otherwise this acrylic paint will come off. And this is what it looks like in my Halloween setup here outside my house.
All right, so I would say this TwoTrees SP-5 version 3, it performs like, I would say, twice as expensive printers in the market. So if you're looking for an FDM type printer for your home, you know, the advantage with it, you have no liquids, no cleaning, nothing, no smell. It's just to set it whatever you want. It's not temperature sensitive in that way. So you just set it up and print whatever you need. Both for your model 8-year-old, but also for fun with your grandson or grandchildren when they come over and want to paint something. So dragons or Halloween pumpkins or you know, butterflies, whatever you like. And did you notice that there were no commercials in the middle of this video? You could scroll back and forth in the video if you like, and that's because the patrons supporting this channel, the first thing I did was to switch off the commercial breaks in the videos. So a big thank you to all the patrons supporting the channel. If you have use for the information provided on this channel and watch it regularly, why don't you get over to Patreon? Set up a support account there from, you know, like $1-2 per month, or make a one-off donation using the PayPal dialog found in the video description below. And if you're not yet a subscriber, subscribe to the channel and you enable that little bell and you will get a notification once next video gets published. Until that happens, see you.